What's up, everybody? Doing my Mental Monday on Monday this week. I've been doing them on Sundays recently. So a couple weeks ago, Matt and I were debating the topic of peaking in wrestling. I've had a few people ask me about it, and then I told someone this weekend, hey, I was considering doing that as a topic for some of my Mental Mondays, but I feel like it's going to be too long. He said, wow, that I really liked it. If you did that, that'd be fascinating, et cetera, et cetera. I'd really like to know what you thought about that. So, okay, cool. Okay, so how do I do this, right, without making it 45 minutes? And so now what I thought I could cut this into 3 parts. So the next 3 Mondays are going to be all about peaking. Okay, so when we talk about peaking, I do think that there is a certain cloak around this where some people think is like the biggest, trickiest secret how to get guys to peak properly. And I don't really think it's that hard. I think it's more or less taking common sense ideas and putting them into practice properly. Okay, so essentially peaking. How do you perform your best? Okay, when do you want to perform your best? I say the NCAA tournament. If you're in high school, maybe the high school state tournament. And it's going to be multiple times, right? Say you're in high school. Maybe you want to do the high school state tournament, Fargo, and Super 32, right? Maybe 3 things there. So how do you peak those 3 things? How do you make it your best time 3 times? If you're right, even if you're wrestling at the senior level, it's, hey, the Olympic trials, the Olympics, right? I want to probably peak at both those events. Okay. So first perspective, from a technical perspective, and again, for me, this seems like it should be fairly obvious or evident. The closer I get to that event, which I want to peak at, the less new technique I should throw at people. Okay, so whenever you throw in new technique to somebody, if they're actually going to try to implement it within their style, there is going to be a learning curve to it, right? You can't just say, okay, you do almost all single legs. I want you to add in a knee pull, or I want you to add in a high crotch, and immediately it's going to be there, okay? Because obviously you've developed a really good single leg, so to add in, we'll just say a high crotch, right? So a right leg lead, single leg I would attack, head inside single leg I would attack the right side of the body, high crotch I would attack the left side of the body. So if I try throwing a high crotch at someone and they're not very good at it, and actually I know because I did this for myself, and it took me, I think, roughly 18 months to really get really good at my high crotch where I can implement it in matches really effectively. My best shot initially was a single leg. To add this to high crotch, I felt like for me it took about 18 months. Maybe I'm being very picky as possible, right? Okay, so either way, you're good at a single leg, you want to add in a high crotch. Obviously, if I told you, well, you can do a single leg and a high crotch now very well, you're going to say, well, that is much better than being just able to do a single leg. But when you first start doing it, because you're not good at the high crotch yet, right, there will be a period of learning. So when we want to throw those things at people, is going to be as far from the competition as possible. So with the way I look at it is, right, we try to peak our wrestlers for Fargo. That's a big one for us here in Wisconsin. When we get done with Fargo, I try to evaluate all the things that I think we are not that good at and implement them, right? Okay, we're going to do this. That way we have a whole bunch of time until the next event. I do the same thing at the end of high school state. When then we're looking, okay, we're starting the off season. We have Fargo that's 4 months away or whatever it is. What do we plug in here, right? Do we need better hand fighting? So we're going to spend a bunch of time on that. Do we need to get better underhooks? We're going to spend a bunch of time on that. So then obviously, as we get closer to the competition, if we're, say, a week out from Fargo, a week out from high school state, the last thing you want to do is say, oh my gosh, you need to add this, this, and this. We want to add all those things. It's going to be almost impossible to process, and they're going to have a lag time, so it's going to be negative towards them because they're trying to implement new things. The brain hasn't figured that out yet, and so then it's going to be a big thumbs down for the competition that's coming up. So if you're getting ready for a competition, then maybe it's like add 1 or 2 things. Hey, this guy you're going to wrestle in the state semifinals, he does this really well. Maybe here's a good strategy for that topic, right? Or, hey, you're getting your single leg a lot, but when you're sitting to the middle, you're not finishing very often. It's because you're not doing this one thing, right? So you're maybe taking that person and you're trying to add maybe 1 or 2 small things. Manual, I would also love it if colleges in Texas had college wrestling. It's coming. I think it'd be fantastic. Okay, so as we get close to competition, maybe we want to make small tweaks to something, but we don't want to make huge tweaks. We want to add a whole bunch of new things in. We want to make small tweaks. So, okay, from a peaking standpoint, all we're talking about right now is from a technical aspect, what are we going to do? And what we're going to do is, as we get done with big competitions, we need to identify, and this could be coach or athlete, we need to identify things that we want them to get better at, start implementing those things. As we then progress, right, hopefully that as we're doing, we get better and better and better and better. And as we progress towards that competition, we are not adding in new things, maybe making small tweaks. Hey, we've been working on a front hand left, but we're not getting this thing done. Let's nail this, right? And so I think from a peaking perspective, when we're talking about technique, that's how we want to do it. When we get done with the competition, we evaluate the things we're struggling with. We set up a plan for attack. We attack that. And then as we get closer, we don't just keep changing. We narrow in, hone in, may make a few small changes, and that's how you're going to be, from a technical perspective, that's how you're going to be best going into competition. Okay, so next 2 Mondays, I'm going to talk about psychological perspective, and then the last one, physical perspective. Okay, so those things. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope that makes sense. That's all I got for you. Matt and I crushed a podcast today, so that'll be coming out tomorrow. Make sure you check that out also. And then I heard RUDIS is doing a Black Friday sale. Make sure you check that out as well. That's all I got. Hope you guys enjoyed the Mental Monday. Peace.